He slept on cardboard, sang for loose coins on broken sidewalks, and was told his dreams were impossible, but tonight, one song will silence Simon Cowell and change everything. If you believe talent can rise from the streets, subscribe now, because this story will stay with you long after the final note. On the crowded streets of Manila, where jeepneys roared past and neon signs flickered through humid air, a young Filipino man named Miguel sang every night beneath a broken streetlight. His voice echoed between cracked walls and shuttered shops, often drowned out by traffic, sometimes ignored completely. Miguel wasn't singing for fame. He wasn't singing for applause. He was singing because it was the only thing that made the hunger fade, the loneliness quiet, and the pain of life feel survivable. People passed him by without knowing that inside this thin, tired street singer lived a voice powerful enough to stop one of the toughest judges in the world. Miguel grew up in a one-room home made of tin and wood on the edge of the city. His father was a fisherman who disappeared during a storm when Miguel was just 9 years old. His mother worked long hours cleaning houses, often returning home with swollen feet and empty eyes. Music became Miguel's escape. He learned to sing by listening to old radio songs drifting through open windows at night. He had no lessons, no microphone, no stage. Just a voice and a heart full of unspoken dreams. When his mother fell ill, everything changed. Medical bills piled up, school became impossible, and Miguel dropped out at 16 to help survive. He tried factory work, construction, anything he could find, but his small frame couldn't keep up. One night, desperate and afraid, he stood on a street corner and sang for the first time. His hands shook, his voice cracked, but something magical happened. People stopped, coins dropped. For the first time in weeks, Miguel brought home enough money to buy medicine and food. From that night on, the streets became his stage. Rain soaked his clothes. Police chased him away. Some people mocked him. Others recorded him on their phones and walked off laughing. Still, Miguel sang. Every song carried his pain, his hope, his silent prayer that someday, somehow, his voice would take him somewhere better. One afternoon, a tourist recorded Miguel singing, "Breakeven," by the script. The song felt like it was written for him. "I'm still alive but I'm barely breathing." The video was shaky, the sound imperfect, but the emotion was undeniable. Within days, the clip spread online. Comments poured in from strangers saying they cried listening to him. One message changed everything. It was an invitation to audition for America's Got Talent. Miguel thought it was a joke. He had never left the Philippines. He didn't own a passport. He barely spoke English confidently. But the invitation was real. A local charity helped him with documents, clothes, and a plane ticket. His mother cried as she hugged him goodbye, slipping a small cross into his pocket and whispering, "Sing like you're singing for your life." The moment Miguel stepped onto the AGT stage, the lights blinded him. The audience murmured. His clothes were simple. His shoes were worn. Simon Cowell leaned back, arms crossed, expression unreadable. How he smiled politely. Sophia tilted her head, curious. Heidi watched quietly. Miguel's hands trembled as he introduced himself, his accent thick, his voice barely above a whisper. When Simon asked what song he would sing, Miguel swallowed hard and said, "Breakeven." Simon raised an eyebrow. That song had been sung hundreds of times. The audience shifted, unsure. The music started softly. For a split second, Miguel almost froze. Then he closed his eyes and sang. The first line came out. Gentle, fragile, almost broken. But then something shifted. His voice grew stronger, raw, aching, filled with years of loss and survival. Each word felt lived, not performed. The audience went silent. Simon leaned forward. The room changed. By the chorus, Miguel wasn't just singing. He was confessing. Tears streamed down faces in the crowd. Sophia covered her mouth. Heidi's eyes glistened. Then came the twist no one expected. Halfway through the song, Miguel's voice cracked, not from weakness but from overwhelming emotion. The music dropped. For a terrifying second, silence filled the theater. Miguel opened his eyes, fighting tears, and continued without music. His voice echoed, imperfect but devastatingly real. The audience erupted in applause before the song even ended. When the final note faded, there was a moment of complete stillness. Then Simon Cowell stood up. The same man known for crushing dreams slowly clapped, his eyes visibly emotional. He said he had heard that song many times, but never like this. Never from someone who had clearly lived every lyric. He told Miguel that this wasn't just a performance, it was a reminder of why music matters. Miguel broke down crying as the judges praised him. They asked about his life, his mother, the streets. When he spoke about singing to survive, the audience gave him a standing ovation. Simon said something rare, something unexpected. He said, "You don't need us, but the world needs to hear you." Miguel advanced instantly. Backstage, he collapsed into tears, clutching the cross in his pocket. But the story didn't end there. In the next rounds, Miguel struggled. Pressure mounted. Doubt crept in. Critics online questioned his consistency. One rehearsal ended with him losing his voice completely. Doctors warned him he might have damaged his vocal cords from years of street singing without rest. Facing elimination, Miguel made a choice. He rested, prayed, and returned to the stage not to impress, but to be honest. His next performance wasn't flashy. It was stripped down, emotional, and deeply personal. Once again, the judges felt it. The audience felt it. America felt it. Though Miguel didn't win the competition, his life changed forever. Music producers reached out. Charity organizations supported his mother's treatment. He returned home not as a street singer, but as a symbol of hope. Today, Miguel still sings, but now on stages where people listen, where his voice is valued, where his story inspires others to believe that greatness can rise from anywhere. And somewhere in Manila, under that same broken streetlight, another young dreamer listens and dares to sing.